according to my clock, it's 9 o'clock, and I'm going to ask if we stand for invocation and pledge of allegiance. And this morning I've asked Pastor Steve McCarty from Clear Spring if he would give us the invocation. Yes, go ahead. Yeah, come down to the mic, please.
Let's reflect a moment of silence here as we ask for divine guidance to architect this world, to be present with us this morning, be with our county commissioners, all those who are here to speak, give us wisdom and guidance and civility in what we are about to do here this morning. And we ask, continue to pray for our world, all those who are struggling around our world and our countries, and all the different things that are happening. So be with us this morning as we go about our business here, and all these things lift up in your holy name.
I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. With that, we'll call our meeting officially to order. And first on the agenda is approval of the minutes, and we have minutes from both December the 17th and December the 23rd, and we will vote on them independently. We do have, I'm going to ask the clerk to, you want to?
For the December 17th minutes, Commissioner Klein and Commissioner Wagner were absent.
Okay.
Move to approve. Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor by saying aye?
Aye. Aye.
Aye, 3-0. Okay. And for the December 23rd?
December 23rd minutes, Commissioner Kiefer was absent.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, motion and second for approval. All in favor by saying aye?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, 4-0. Thank you. Next up is Commissioner's comments and reports. Commissioner Klein, you want to go first today?
Yeah, I'll go first. Good morning, everyone. Just want to let everybody know I attended the Boonesboro EDC meeting a week or so ago at the National Road Museum down there. If you have a chance, stop down there and look at the National Road Museum. It's the only museum dedicated to the National Road in the state of Maryland. Also attended the Clear Spring Volunteer Fire Department awards banquet, as I also attended the Morgansville award banquet, and I also attended the 195th anniversary of the Boonesboro First Host Fire Company over the weekend. That's a long time for them to be in service. And I also attended the Washington County Day in Annapolis, and I want to thank our staff for being there and all the other vendors and the lobbying coalition and all those who put that together. It was well attended. The room was elbow to elbow, and that concludes my report. Thank you.
Commissioner Wagner?
Hey, good morning. Also want to congratulate Boonesboro on their 195th anniversary. That's a long time for the Volunteer Fire Company. Congratulate all the recipients there and also at the Morgansville and Clear Spring Fire Companies of the awards they've received. Was able to attend and participate in the Washington County Disability Advisory Committee and the Home Builders Association mixer, and thanks to J&D Kitchens distributors for hosting that. That's it for me.
Okay. Mr. Harvey?
Well, thank you, John. Yeah, again, congratulations to the Boonesboro Volunteer Fire. I was unable to attend that. Like others, I was able to attend the Clear Spring and Morgansville Fire Awards and banquets, and, you know, lots of really, really good work. Amazing the number of hours that people are dedicating to the volunteer force and the number of calls some of these people go on. I mean, 300, 400, 500, 600 calls during the year. So they get awards for that and awards for training and raising money and other excellence. And also thanks to the auxiliaries of all of these organizations that do so much to keep the volunteer fire departments going strong. So congratulations to them. Just a quick comment. I think I heard from a lot of citizens that either participated or watched the public hearing on the comprehensive plan. And I would just ask that our staff, Michelle and the zoning people and the staff working that plan, really work through the observations that were brought by our citizens and just some of those. I know how hard it was for us to get the convenience store definition right and the truck stop parking right. You know, I don't think we really even know what a grocery store is by definition right now, because I haven't seen a new definition of that, because there was significant debate about what is a grocery store in dealing with you know, Cascade last year. But when you run through these things, I think clarity and precise definitions are really important, because unless you have that, someone, a developer or a business person or someone else will take advantage of the loopholes if you're not really clear about what you're going to allow. And that takes specificity. And it, based on what we went through with the convenience store and truck stop, John, you know, it's not easy to get to a point where people are comfortable with the definition. So I think we really need to work hard and not gloss over that. And I think the definitions for rural business, what is or is not allowed, and be very precise. Agricultural tourism, the conservation area. What's the real reasoning for removing the preservation area? I don't understand that. So I think there's more information that needs to be developed and made available to the public so that they understand what's going on. So I would just ask that the staff double down on that. And I know it's not easy, but I think they really need to explore what are all the possibilities that someone could exploit. Okay, so we don't want to have second or third order consequences for something that we did not think about when we should have been thinking about it and exploring what could happen. Okay, so that's just my thought based upon what I'm hearing from people since the public hearing on the comprehensive plan.
And I believe they're still accepting comments through Friday, so if public has additional comments or would like to make some additional references, they can still do that.
Okay. Is that it? Mr. Kiefer?
Thank you, President Barr. I had a brief conversation with President Barr this morning, and I handed him a letter, and I would like to read it as my commissioner comments today. Since 2016, I have had the tremendous honor of serving the people of Washington County, Maryland as one of their representatives in local government. Spanning the better part of a decade and during 3 terms in office, I have worked alongside many elected officials and fellow citizens to make Washington County a better place to live, learn, work, and play. I never intended for elected office to become a career, and I've always held employment outside of being a county commissioner. In my opinion, I believe the most efficient and honest government possible is practiced by individuals who serve on a temporary basis and who know the struggles and triumphs of the ordinary person, because they too are ordinary people working hard for their families. Although my wife has been tremendously patient with campaigns and meetings and the hours of work that go along with elected office, our daughter is much less patient, but for good reason. In the blink of an eye, she's 3.5 years old. She's growing fast and will soon be starting school. And I feel like I don't get to spend the time with my family that I want, and that weighs very heavily on me. While I plan to serve the remainder of my term, I've been blessed with a work opportunity that is good for my career, but even better for my family. And it will require more of my professional attention, so I've decided to step down as county commissioner. Being mindful of certain projects I'm involved with, Jeff and I had a meeting on Friday, and the good citizens I'm helping, I intend for my resignation to be effective February 21st. That will allow me the time I need to finalize some remaining county work and transition those needs to others who can help. That's all.
Way to go. Congratulations. Thank you for your service.
Thank you, Commissioner Kiefer. You've been a tremendous asset, and as I said earlier to you this morning emotionally, thank you for your service, and the best to you and your family as you move forward in your family and your career, and family first. So
Thank you.
Thanks for
very much respected.
It's been an honor. I'll have more to say later.
Wow. Well, I think my comments are rather brief here this morning after that, especially. But I know Commissioner Klein touched on it. Last week was an absolute wonderful showing of camaraderie, working together by this community. The comments in Annapolis, both during the day, during the evening reception, and I was back in Annapolis all day on Thursday, and repeatedly I heard comments that Washington County is unique. The collaboration of the Greater Hagerstown, Leadership Washington County, the Chamber, and I know I'm going to forget some folks, the city, the county, many of our other municipalities. We spent the day, started at 8 o'clock last Wednesday morning, and spent the entire day in Annapolis, late into the evening with a reception where many organizations, both public and private of Washington County, hosted a reception for any of the delegation statewide that could attend or would attend. In all the appointments that we made all day long in the State House, we invited everyone. There was things that were handed out, and repeatedly, delegates and senators across the state of Maryland made unsolicited remarks that Washington County is unique. We're the only ones that do that. They found it rather surprising, professional, and very informative. So hats off to everyone. I know that this community may have realized some brain drain or body drain last Wednesday, but the outpouring in Annapolis did not go unnoticed. So, and the leadership at Mako even are like, wow, you guys pull it together. So I just can't say it enough to everyone. And thank you for the participation and the opportunity to work together countywide. So upcoming events, grand opening of Hub City Brewery, Friday, January 31st, 5 p.m. And for everyone, the big day is Friday evening, 5 to 9 p.m. is Groundhog Day. It's a family fun event, and it's down at our Ag Center on Sharpsburg Pike, and it's a free event, correct?
No, there's a cost to it.
There is a
It's
cost.
free for children under 12 and under. I believe it's $10 a person.
Okay, but you'll certainly get your money's worth for $10, and children are free. That's the part I got free. So, grand opening of Honey Baked Ham on Westfield Boulevard on Saturday afternoon at 11 o'clock, Saturday morning. And then Saturday evening is Hancock Fair and Rescue Banquet, and that's held at the American Legion there in Hancock. And please don't forget our evening meeting this evening with the town of Morgansville, and it'll be held at 6 p.m. at the Morgansville Ruritan Club. Is there anything I've forgotten this morning?
We do have our State of the County, our annual presentation coming up on February the 4th.
Okay.
That is an event put on by the Chamber. I just wanted to make sure that the public's aware that we are going to live stream that event so that everyone has the opportunity to view it. We'll also release our State of the County video that day.
Okay, thank you. Next up is staff comments. Chip Rose. You want to-
Morning, Commissioners. Chip Rose, Director of Human Resources. I have two brief items for you this morning. Staff is requesting approval to hire Karen Bakner for position number 911. That's the buyer's position. The offer is a grade 13, step 4, at an hourly rate of $32.48 an hour. With your approval, that will be effective on January the 18th, 2025.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for approval. All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thank you.
Second item, staff is requesting approval to hire Pamela Boyd for position number 1662. That's the Parks Supervisor's position. The offer is a grade 15, step 2, at an hourly rate of $34.75 an hour. With your approval, that will be effective January the 18th, 2025.
Motion to approve?
Okay, we have a motion and a second for approval as submitted. All in favor by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. 5-0. Thank you.
Thank you. That's all I have for you this morning.
Thank you, Chip. Okay, County Administrator Michelle Gordon.
Thank you. I have attended numerous meetings regarding legislative items with Washington County Community Coalition, MACO, as well as legislative meetings here with county staff. I did attend Washington County Day in Annapolis, and I'd like to also extend a huge thank you to all of our staff who put on that event and attended by manning some of the booths that we had there. I'd also like to thank our staff for attending meetings with our legislators to discuss important and pending issues for the county. I'd like to thank our public safety, water quality, and highway staff for handling ice and clearing roads, responding to incidents, pipe breaks, things like that during the recent snow and severe cold weather. Last thing, I just want to make sure that all employees are aware that we are rolling out a new optional Roth retirement plan through Nationwide. That is available now for employees to sign up for it. And please reach out to HR to get more information or to get the enrollment application. And that's everything that I have. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Michelle. Next up is citizens' participation. This is an opportunity for citizens to comment about an issue or issues of county practices and interest. This is not an interactive dialogue or question and answer session. It is solely time to hear citizens' comments, and we sincerely ask that you limit your remarks to 3 minutes or less. And with that, first row.
Hi, I'm Jill Hudson. It says here to give my address. It's 14109 Pleasant Meadows Lane, Hagerstown, Maryland, 21740. I own the Market Hub up on Pennsylvania Avenue, and we're a small business superstore for local small businesses, also for nonprofits. It has come to my attention, and I believe I forwarded to everybody the concern in an email, but it was wonderful to hear a conversation about the homeless on December 17th of last year. The Hope for Home program that was brought to your attention at this meeting is helpful. Jeannie Asbury and Dr. Sewell did bring forth a great suggestion, a program of the working homeless and their families. But as we are all aware, it only takes one turn of events to make us a less fortunate working poor and homeless. This program will give help and a leg up to those working families involved within the program. This program also does have great potential. I want to encourage the commissioners to support all programs for the homeless. However, we are still needing support for the homeless who do not define as a family or are able to work or are veterans. These individuals are challenged in ways that can range from mental, physical, and financial needs as well. We currently have housing for some, but not for all. We have food for some, but not for all. We have medical attention for some, but again, not for all. I would like to ask the commissioners to take the less fortunate working poor and the homeless crisis fully to heart. Once we know that a problem exists and we do not act, we will be accountable to our fellow man. We need to support the organizations that have proven to be effective. We should be interested in working with the other smaller community groups that are nonprofit and trying so hard to fill in the gaps that we are not able to meet. These groups are It's a Blessing, various churches, Harvest Breakthrough, Rock of Hope, Soul Haven, Potomac Community, St. John Shelter, CASA. It's a Blessing to be a blessing is an immediate need. It has been feeding the homeless now for years, and they feed them Monday through Friday, but they are in need of a location. The current location will be using the space for a daycare center. So they are looking for a location that has a commercial kitchen or a warming kitchen. They need spaces for tables. They need space for also their supplies because they offer clothing, toys, hygiene products. So the questions are, does the county have any buildings that they're willing to lease or provide at a low cost for purchase? Does the county know of any low-barrier grants that may be available? Their work needs to be downtown because most of the less fortunate working poor and homeless are not mobile and do not have cars. As a county, we also have no bathrooms or cleaning facilities for them, and I am asking guidance from the leadership. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Still in the first row? Second row?
I'm going to wait till everyone else has a chance to speak, and then I'm going to come up when everyone else is done.
Third row?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Feels like old times. Mr. President, thank you very much. I'm here representing the Community Free Clinic and the Board of Directors to invite you to our February 8th gala that celebrates 35 years of serving Washington County.
Can you state your name?
Dan DeVito, 18523 Preston Road in Hagerstown.
Jeremy Cantner, 21822 Mount Edna Road, Hagerstown, Maryland.
So on February 8th, we're having a gala at the Maryland Theater, and we've invited all of you to be there, and we would love to see you all there. Again, 35 years ago, it was an idea of a couple doctors in town to say that the community needed some way to make the uninsured and the underinsured to have access to quality health care. And it started out in a little storage room, and it moved to Franklin Street in a storefront, and now we're on Mill Avenue, and we provide top-quality medical care. And the only question that we ask is that you reside in Washington County. It's totally free. It's one of the only, I think there's 2 free clinics in the state of Maryland, and we are proudly one of them. So I'll turn it over to our executive director.
Yeah, absolutely. We really want the support of leadership of our community to show all of the work that we've been putting in over 35 years of providing high-quality medical, and then in 2019, we expanded to add mental health, which was another major community need based in the China report. So, we've continued to try to strive to meet the needs of the community, and, like I say, having leadership there just helps us, continue to build a program and continue to help the residents of Washington County, which as our population grows, there's more uninsured. As job insecurities happen, we're there to help those people who are in need.
Okay. I'd also like to just add that respectfully request that I think it would be very important to send a message to the community that we've always enjoyed the support of the commissioners, and we totally appreciate that over the years, and it's been instrumental to the success and the sustainability of the clinic. And we'd like to ask respectfully again that you think seriously about becoming a sponsor for this gala. It's a nominal $1,500 sponsorship, and I think it would be nice to have Washington County Commissioner's name prominently displayed throughout the evening on February 8th. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
Okay, still row 2, row 3, row 4.
Good morning, Commissioners. Thank you for your service to the community. Stephanie Phillips, City of Hagerstown. History is written by those who won it, I'm told. If you studied it in college in the North and the South, I'm also told it would be vastly different both in lecture and textbook. This past, relocation bid under old business of the 2 FBI buildings, one here and one in Berkeley County, Our primary competition, I'm told, would be Prince George's County, but many believe that's not a good choice being located between our nation's capital and Baltimore. This past year, there were 2 construction sites going on simultaneously across the street from each other, the ball field and the garage. Acknowledging the art studio on Summit as a central point and going out a half a block radius in all directions, we could come up with 10 historical buildings housing important records: City Hall, the City Police Department, St. Mary's, the building we're in, Washington County Courthouse, the library, the bail bonds, the Herald Mail, and the West End Fire Department and ambulance. There are people trying to get rid of historical records worldwide. I went to the city, the county, and the state requesting extra government engineering supervision. It was provided. I was instructed to do that by credible people. As you consider the bidding of the FBI buildings here, you could emphasize how well these projects were handled. The construction was quality and there was excellent supervision from everywhere. If we are also going to take into consideration the Wounded Warriors in the College Town theme, working with Berkeley County cooperatively with civil servants, education, in all areas, healthcare, I really believe that this would earn us the bid. You know, it'd be a huge responsibility. But from what I see from the everyday citizens in this community and the leadership, I think that they would want to help serve our country and this region in this way. Thank you for your consideration.
Okay. Row 4 and 5. Okay. Mr. Porter.
Guten Morgen, Herr Führer. I'm going to speak for the exact same amount of time as Kristen Alshire spoke. If you cut me off before his time, then you're discriminating against my viewpoint by saying he can speak for 9 minutes and 30 seconds and I cannot. So the first thing I'd like to talk about is, and it's not going to be about why Jeff Klein's daughter didn't invite him to her wedding or why she doesn't talk to him. Nothing scandalous like that, John. By the way, you look good without a bow tie. I'm glad you took my advice and removed that gay-ass bow tie. I'm here to talk about why you're diverting money from Boonesboro Fire Department and other fire departments and giving it to attorneys in Baltimore. This right here has been viewed by 3,500 people on my Facebook. I have a professional Facebook page, so it has what's called insights. I can track how many people watch it. 3,500 people have read the excerpts where Washington County has paid a very prestigious law firm in Baltimore on the best part of Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard, Carp & Carp, a law firm named after 2 trash fish that people throw back and nobody wants. Must smell god-awful in that office. You paid them to get a protective order against what I would consider to be the greatest threat in Washington County. According to your spending priorities and the priorities of the sheriff's office, you got a protective order against a bunny rabbit, or you're seeking one. A giant bunny rabbit, this fluffy bunny rabbit right here, you have paid an outside law firm to get a protective order against. You did not want the subpoena to testify and tell the truth about Jeff Klein's corruption in Keedysville in regards to his extortion of Justin Holder to get sewer to his family's 9-acre lot. So what you did is, instead of telling the truth and being transparent and honoring the subpoena and showing up to be deposed, you had an outside attorney, with Carp & Carp to show up and file this on your behalf with the circuit court to try and get a protective order so you don't have to tell the truth. So the next time the firefighters or anyone in public service here in Washington County is wondering why they don't have funding, it's because of a giant bunny rabbit. Now, this giant bunny rabbit, according to the filing that the county paid for, I mean, this is what, 5 pages? I don't know what lawyers charge in Baltimore, but, you're talking 5 pages, all these words. You're spending the money on attorneys rather than spending the money on the fire department because you don't want to show up and tell the truth at a deposition about Jeff Klein's corruption, about how he extorts people for sewer, and about how you guys hide documents, don't disclose documents, how Kirk Downey destroyed documents, won't turn over emails. That's where the money's going. So the fire department, the next time they need funding, do they call the law firm and ask for a refund for all the money you're spending to try and hide from a subpoena? You guys were mad that you got served a subpoena by a giant bunny rabbit and that tens of thousands of people have watched you on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, and other websites. Now, the next thing I need to talk about is our sheriff's office. Our sheriff has saw it fit to get internal affairs and CID to try to ascertain the identity of this wascally wabbit. So basically, Sheriff Baby Girl Brian Albert is essentially Elmer Fudd trying to track down and come after a rabbit and trying to retaliate and retribute against this poor rabbit. We'll just call him Jerry. So the next time someone in the county needs funding for a project or there's not enough money for homeless people, whatever the thing may be, just remember that your money is going to a Baltimore law firm to protect people like Jeff Kid Killer Klein and John Barf, people who don't want the truth exposed. You don't want transparency in government. I'm sorry to see Kiefer leaving. He was one of the good ones. He basically enabled transparency in this body, which is the opposite of what you're seeking. But basically, Washington County is afraid of a giant bunny rabbit. Sheriff Baby Girl Brian Albert has a task force set up to identify the wascally wabbit. We'll just call him Jerry. They basically, between Todd Kearns, who's a man with a FUPA, Pete Lazich, and Brian Albert, they have daily meetings to try to find ways to stop my free speech and to stop exposing a weak sheriff running our county into the ground, just like he did emergency services. He ran the communications center into the ground over there. Long story short, I'm not appreciative of my money being spent on this Carp and Carp law firm to file motions to quash subpoenas and protective orders against giant bunny rabbits. I think it's ridiculous that you filed for a protective order against a giant bunny rabbit. I don't believe that he has rabies. The school board, who's doing a fantastic job, by the way, now with new leadership, they were not at all afraid of the bunny rabbit. They filed no lawsuits, no court motions, nothing. The docket is free and clear from anything involving WCPS and giant bunny rabbits. They're not afraid. They don't fear the rabbit like you, John Barr, or you, Jeff Kid Killer Klein. They're perfectly at peace with the bunny rabbit. But anyway, you're spending all your money there. It's ridiculous. That money is actually our money, John. You shouldn't be spending it on rabbit identification by and through the Washington County Sheriff's Office. They're never going to stop me. They actually are trying to ascertain which sheriff deputies are leaking information to me. Well, it's a lot of them, and the reason they're leaking information is because they're unhappy with Brian Albert because he never should have got elected. He was pushed into power by Randy Wagner and Jeff Klein when there were better candidates like Holsinger that could have been elected, and now we're paying the consequences. We're literally paying police officers to try and figure out the identity of a giant bunny rabbit. Let me clue you guys in. When a giant bunny rabbit serves a subpoena, the giant bunny rabbit has to be the one to fill out the return, which is then handed to the circuit clerk's office. They process it. The giant bunny rabbit's name is on the return, guys. I hate to be the one to point this out after a week of investigation by your best detectives, Brian, but the bunny rabbit's name is over at the circuit court clerk's office on the subpoena return because he's the one that served the subpoena. Anyway, guys, if you're worried about transparency in government, you're never going to get it. By the way, this public comment has been sponsored by Roy Rogers and Plumundum Enterprises. They're 100% pro-Trump, and they're thinking about renaming the Gold Rush Chicken Sandwich in honor of our Lord and Savior, Donald Trump. Thank you for your time.
Any other citizens' participation this morning? Hearing none, we'll move right along with our agenda. Next up is Washington County Museum of Fine Arts update and FY26 support request. Good morning.
Morning. Morning. Have a PowerPoint that's going to come on, right?
Great. Morning, everyone. My name is Ted Reeder. I'm Vice President of the Museum's Board of Trustees. On behalf of our entire board and staff, I want to thank you for the opportunity to share our accomplishments and report to you on the ways that your important support has helped us serve our community. During this presentation, Sarah Hall, our Executive Director, will share with you some of the highlights of our past year and introduce some of what is to come in our next fiscal year. Washington County has been a vital partner in the work that the museum has performed since its foundation in 1931, and we appreciate that you understand the impact the museum has in Washington County and beyond. Your support over these last 93 years, in combination with support from the state of Maryland and the city of Hagerstown, is a crucial part of the diverse revenue stream that has ensured this museum's stability and allowed it to grow to become a nationally respected, accredited museum, which we are today. We are very proud that we are on TripAdvisor's third best art museum in the state of Maryland, followed only by number 1 and number 2 positions in Baltimore. And if you utilize Google reviews, we're actually number 2. Thank you. Yeah, we're pretty proud of that. Because our collaborative relationship with the county was set up as a part of the founding documents of the museum, we have long-standing community traditions with powerful local impact baked into our DNA, as evidenced by the thousands of school children who visit the museum each year through the museum's literacy program and the thousands of families who visit our annual Washington County Public School exhibition. Today's presentation is about the power of our combined work and potential of the museum to change lives, build community, and foster economic impact. And I'll now turn it over to Sarah, who will provide you with some details.
Good morning, everybody. Yes, I do have control of the PowerPoint. I wanted to say our board chair, Jim Holzapfel, was not able to be here with us this morning, and we do have a cheerleading section that you heard. Our Director of Development, Beth Smith, and Kathy Oliver, who's Secretary of our Board of Trustees. So that said, I try to stick to my script so I don't take too much time. Last year, we demonstrated the impact of compelling exhibitions as a way to drive attendance and concurrently increase donations, retail sales, and memberships through the exhibitions Picasso on Paper and our children's book illustration show. Building on that, last June we opened Art, Fashion, Symbol, Statement, Tattooing in America, 1960s to Today, an exhibition that was designed to attract younger and perhaps less traditional visitors. I pulled one Google review out because I loved it. So my wife and I visited here because we saw an exhibit we wanted to check out during our walk around the park. It was Tattooing in America. They also had a bunch of local art, as well as older paintings and such. They also had children's artwork on display. Altogether, it was such a fun time walking around and checking everything out. We will definitely be back again. Thank you. So that just shows me that sometimes people walking right in the park don't realize we are there. Our large banners hopefully invite them in like they did this gentleman. This is the opening of the Floating Beauty exhibition, which just recently closed. Organizing higher profile exhibitions is an investment of money and talent, but they are the best way to get repeat visitation and get visitors to come from a bit farther afield. When we program exhibitions, we hope to pull people in from a 60-minute radius of the museum. And in this image of the exhibition that we just closed on January 12th, I think you can see that we've really worked to improve our exhibition design. Beginning January 1st, we also increased our weekend hours so that those folks who have to drive from a little bit of a distance have more time to see us. So now we are open 10 to 5 Tuesday through Sunday. And this is just an overview of the year. We continue to support and promote regional artists in our Cumberland Valley exhibitions through our Washington County Public Schools exhibition, both of them beloved traditions that have built audiences since 1933. That's about 7 generations who've grown up seeing themselves in the museum, and many people in this room probably as well. Our Saturday morning youth program also dates back to 1933 when it first began as Museum Storytime. We now offer free art education for the entire span of K through 12, Explore and Express Your Style for middle schoolers, and a teen studio program. All of them involve spending time in the galleries with our collections, learning about artists and media, as well as creative work in our classroom. One goal of the expansion project we're in the midst of, that you all know about, is to be able to do more of these programs. We currently run 3 8-week sessions of the Saturday Morning Youth Program a year, and we always have a wait list. We'd love to be able to accommodate more students. We fill our atrium twice with happy families who come to awards night for the Washington County Public Schools exhibition. And these are the award winners from last year, and I just have some very cute pictures of kids who were not officially award winners, but they came on our Wednesdays. We stayed open until 8 on Wednesdays to allow families more time to come in. And obviously, these kids were proud to be photographed with their artwork. Many of you probably came to the museum on a tour as part of a class field trip. Those continue, and we also welcome scout groups, senior communities, book clubs, and others. In a typical year, we have about 6,000 to 7,000 students visit us from Washington County Public Schools, and hundreds more children through family programs, workshops, and classes. Another tradition is Fall Fest. This year we had over 3,000 people come through our garden participating in origami and making fish prints based on our Floating Beauty exhibition. And inside the museum, we had more than 700 people. Fall Fest is perhaps one of the 2 most exhausting days of the museum year, but it is so gratifying to see so many families. We continue to offer a variety of workshops and hands-on learning experiences for adults as well as children. And we continue to regularly program music and performances, often in connection with a specific exhibition. Thomas Pandolfi, pictured here, is a crowd favorite. He generally gets to play for us whenever his schedule has an opening where we can bring him in. And on this evening, he actually stayed after and played personally for a woman it was her 70th birthday, and she asked him if he would do something for her, and he did. And here's a new tradition. We're transitioning from old traditions to new traditions here. After piloting Music in the Garden in 2023, this year we programmed a series of 3 performances, one Friday evening each summer month with the museum open until 8. This year we had 441 people. People are invited to bring their own picnics if they want to, but we started allowing them to pre-order snack boxes through Gordon's that we picked up and had ready for them when they arrived. And Stonehouse Urban Winery usually has a tent, and people can buy wine from Stonehouse if they want. It's just a perfect summer evening. And back in the Rose Garden again, this time was a special community event called Floating Beauty After Dark that we did in conjunction with the Japanese print show. For each exhibition, we program a special community day that's intended to involve all ages and activities related to the exhibition. In this case, the Japanese print show was our cultural departure point. We had docent tours in the museum. We had these incredible drummers in the garden. I've never seen anything galvanize visitors to the park more. Everybody was coming over. The drums were loud, but it's also, if you've ever seen taiko drumming, it's very athletic. They're jumping around. They can only perform for half an hour because they get exhausted. A lot of fun. We also had hands-on activities that night, including lantern decorating station down at the side of the lake. After decorating their lanterns, folks waited until dusk to launch them. One of the wonderful aspects of this night was how we had so many indoor-outdoor spaces activated, but tied together with activities that meaningfully connected to the art. We had 233 people there. I love the photos, which show a great mix of people from the community, all happy to be together. I think I turned to my husband and said, I don't think anyone here is unhappy right now. We also got, the Model Yacht Club. They came with their tugboats and fetched all the lanterns afterwards so people could take them home. There was no current on the lake. They had to help us spread them out too, but it was fun. For the Edgier exhibition, Art, Fashion, Symbol, Statement, Tattooing in America, 1960s Today, we had a bit of an edgier community day, partnering with the nonprofit Savage Mountain Punk Arts and supported by the Washington County Arts Council. We brought bands into the Rose Garden. Our atrium was filled with a variety of vendors and tattoo artists. I even punked myself up a bit, I don't know if you can tell in that picture, and came in and gave gallery tours. It was a ridiculous 93-degree day, perhaps one of the most wholesome events I've ever attended. I was so surprised by the number of families. I really didn't expect a punk day. And everybody, again, was having a great time. I talked to a number of first-time visitors and some of our more traditional visitors who just found the whole day fun. And I got a lovely email the next week from some of our regulars who said they just had a terrific time. Another new thing is our holiday nights. This year was our second. It was an idea that came to me driving around at night and realizing that people go down to the park to see the lights, but they can't necessarily get into the museum. So we started being open Friday nights until 8 in December and have special programming. We also had our second summer offering a week-long summer camp experience, and this year the kids had the opportunity to meet and work with a number of the artists in the Cumberland Valley exhibition. We're in the early stages of our fiscal year 26 program planning, but we're considering adding a second week of camp. We do plan to offer multiple weeks of camp when we have the expanded campus and more space for kids. A focus of last year was also introducing more adaptive arts programs for special needs visitors of all ages. And we also had our first foray into providing special tours for those with limited vision. We're working on developing our roster of fiscal year 26 classes and experiences for special needs individuals now. And I just want to interject here that one of the goals of our museum expansion is increased accessibility. Our current entrance, if you know, is down 2 flights of stairs. If you're in a wheelchair or a walker, you have to come down a very long, narrow ramp. It's not at all ideal. I know there are older visitors who've actually told me they sort of dread coming to the museum. They're discouraged before they even leave their house because of the awkward entrance. So one of the mantras of this expansion and renovation project is everyone comes in the door together. We're working with our architects to ensure a level entrance as we renovate. My presentations generally emphasize people because our collections are here to serve people. Without being activated by visitors, our collections, no matter how priceless, rare, or beautiful, are just so much stuff. We do have absolutely wonderful stuff, and caring for it, of course, is a priority, an expense, and a responsibility. And I wanted to show you this beautiful view of our vault, looking so organized. It has these pictorial cheat sheets that allow you to know the contents of the painting racks, which limits movement and handling and helps us safeguard the collection. And another very exciting collections-related project is that we are upgrading our collections management database, and in a few months, our entire collection will be available online and searchable. This project has been funded by an incredibly generous donor who has given us about 1,200 prints, 400 rare books, and 30 paintings, as well as the financial support to care for, digitize, and make his collection accessible online. So you'll hear, we're going to do a big press release about this fellow soon. You'll hopefully be reading about him. Discussing our generous donor reminds me that many of our most popular annual events are fundraisers. You are a vitally important cornerstone of what we do, and your investment in us provides a fulcrum that we leverage to raise other funds. Now we're going to look at some numbers. Here is fiscal year 24 by the month, where you can see us bouncing back to the nearly 46,000 annual visitor number. April and September are the really big bars because of the Washington County Public School opening and Fall Fest. I'm happy to say that some of those other bars are not too far behind, particularly November, December, February, and March, because we had Picasso and children's books up at that time. So it really shows how impactful exhibitions can bring people in. And then we're looking at comparison of fiscal year attendance, and you can see the effect of the pandemic and how we've been rebuilding, and we have had 14% growth from fiscal year 23 to 24. And now, Justin Hardings is going to talk a little bit about our finances.
Good morning, Commissioners. Good to see you all. Commissioner Kiefer, thank you for your service, and thank you for your support of the museum over many years. Good luck in your future endeavors. As the treasurer, I'll talk about the finances a little bit. Our 26 budget is still in the process of being developed, so we will approve that in our May board meeting. But the expenses for 2024 were $1,961,000. 81% of those expenses were directly related to program services. That includes exhibitions, collections care, public programs, classes, concerts, all the things that you just heard Sarah talk about. While we're very proud of this percentage, it does reflect a slight decrease from previous years because we've invested some money in fundraising for our capital campaign. Income for 2024 was $1,990,000. This comes from 3 different sources, what we call earned income, contributed income, and invested income. A diverse revenue stream, we believe, helps ensure that we have a stable organization. The support of the county, city, community members encourages other granting institutions who understand that we're valued in our community. It's one of the questions that other donors ask all the time is, does your community support your museum? And it really helps us when we can say, yes, all of our government agencies support our museum. So thank you for putting us in a position where we can say yes to those kinds of questions. Contributed income is further broken down in the next slide and includes the support we receive from the Washington County Commissioners, the City of Hagerstown, the Maryland State Arts Council, and other grants. Earned income includes facility rentals, rental sales, and fee-based programs like classes, concerts, and special tours. Our investment distribution is limited to a 4% draw of a rolling 12-quarter average. That ensures that we safeguard the museum in its perpetuity while still taking advantage of the opportunities that the endowment makes available to us so that we can provide programming for the community. The 36% slice of the pie in the prior slide that includes the contributed income, last year this slice of the pie was considerably larger because we were still receiving supplemental COVID relief funds. Those funds are no longer available to us. This reflects a return to a more typical balance. The government support number includes the county, city, and the state. Specific purpose gifts include sponsorships for events and exhibitions and funding for projects like the new collections management system. The fundraising bar shows the proceeds from our events like the treasure sale, Art in Bloom, tablescapes, membership, and our annual fund, and other portions are grants. I'm going to let Sarah tell you a little bit more about our plans for concluding 2025 and fiscal year 2026.
Didn't put a lot in here, but this is our next big exhibition. So I'm kind of giving a little commercial for this now. We are confident that this exhibition is going to create a similar ripple of activity as Picasso and Children's Books did last year. We're planning a gala opening for Frida Kahlo, Picturing an Icon, on June 13th. We are combining that exhibition opening with our annual Tablescapes event. So the idea is all these fun sort of Mexican folklore-y kind of tables in the atrium, pretty spectacular for the beginning of the Frida Kahlo exhibition. We're halfway through fiscal year 25. I think if I were going to sum up the year, I'd say it has been about building the exhibition program, creating consistency in our community program, continuing to expand our partnerships with Washington County Public School Systems. We are doing an after-school enrichment program with them, and we just started doing an early dismissal program. And if anybody saw the article that was in the Herald Mail Sunday, Kelly Mealy, our Director of Education, talks about how those programs really help and support families in the community. As we plan for fiscal year 26, we are requesting funding from the county of $142,000, a slight increase of last year's support of $140,000. And finally, I have referenced periodically, along with the business as usual that we've been doing at the museum, we continue to raise funds and plan for the creation of our expanded museum campus. We are in the quiet phase of our capital campaign, cultivating leadership gifts to invest in this transformative project. We are at about the 50% mark in our goal for private philanthropy. We're currently working with Cooper Robertson Architects. We did an RFP for schematic design. They were selected, and we're working on what they call building massing studies right now. We should be finishing up schematic design in April. This is for the renovation of the buildings we purchased on Key Street, as well as our historic museum building. The expanded campus will quite obviously have more room for public programming, larger exhibitions, improvements to the visitor experience, and as we know, not a trivial thing having a level entrance to the museum. And that is my conclusion. We are happy to take any questions you may have. And thank you, always.
I'll just point out that the $2,000 increase that they're requesting is about a 1.4% increase over the prior year.
As the Commissioner's appointee to the Museum Board, I'm honored to say they're doing a fantastic job, and great participation in leadership, and just what an asset to our community.
Indeed. We really appreciate your involvement and participation in our meetings, Commissioner Barr. It's great to see you there when, as often as you come. I know you're very, very busy, and it certainly reflects yours and the Commissioner's commitment to the museum to see you as engaged as you are, so thank you.
Everybody knows John by name.
I'll just say, if I can, I've always appreciated the Museum of Fine Arts. Even before I was a commissioner, I had my own artwork displayed in the museum, and then I graduated from elementary school, so I haven't had it there since. But really appreciate, I'm reminded when I was growing up, my mother always had the State Farm calendar on our kitchen wall with the Norman Rockwell paintings. And I don't recall if the Oculist was one of those paintings all those years ago, but really helped me develop a love of Norman Rockwell's work. And I was so excited when I learned that we had a Norman Rockwell painting here in Washington County, and how unique that is, and truly special for a community of our size.
It's a great story. People say, what's your Mona Lisa? It's the Norman Rockwell.
We were there, my wife and I, a couple months ago, maybe a year ago. It was for the Picasso print
So
exhibition.
about a year ago, probably.
And we were looking for the painting, and one of the ladies, I can't think of her name offhand, but we asked for it. And she said, well, maybe it's being cleaned, or maybe it's on loan. It wasn't on display. And she reached out to me on Facebook a couple weeks later and said, hey, just want to let you know,
back.
You can come back and see it. Yeah,
That's
so I
so
appreciate
nice.
that.
Sarah, I'd just like to say that I'm amazed at how much you do at the museum with the budget that you do have. And it's a testament to the dedication and the professionalism. Very hard work, probably far beyond what they're paid for.
You're right, and
And I
sometimes.
appreciate that. The community appreciates that.
Thank you. Sometimes, I came from a museum about 5 times our size, and sometimes they say, I expect people to do the work of 5 times, a 5 times bigger museum. But I think we all love it, and we know what we're doing is a benefit to a large number of people.
I too want to thank you for all your efforts. And one of my claim to fame is I too had artwork on display there back when I was in elementary. Not that I do, Mr. President or Mr. Kiefer, but it's always to go there, a pleasure to go there and see the exhibits of the elementary school kids every year, seeing them pointing their artwork out to mom, dad, or grandparents.
When I go through that show, what I see is time well spent. Those kids were in a good space in their brains when they were making that art, right? It's healthy. It contributes to childhood development in so many ways. So I just feel all that good energy whenever I walk in that space.
Thank you.
I did not make it to the exhibits. My artwork never made it there. So.
I guess there is a little bit of curating that goes on.
Unless you accept stickmen. But I do want to thank you for your contribution to the community and the whole surrounding area of the community. You guys do a wonderful job. I echo your budget seems, just thank you.
Randy, I think mine was a scribble drawing. So
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure.
It showed a lot of emotion and.
Being we're having confession time here this morning, I often comment that as the oldest of 8 kids, my dad would give my mother a break on Saturday morning and bring half of us at least into the art classes. And he would go to the office and get a little free time at the office and then pick us up around noon. And a lot of fond memories of the art.
That's kind of what Kelly's article was about in the paper, giving parents that little bit of breathing room while the kids are having a great experience too.
Yep.
We're very much looking forward to expanding those capabilities, educational capabilities.
Good.
Which I think we're doing in a really, really significant way with these. That was the idea.
So your best guess on the timeline for the expansion to be complete, is that 5 years down the road, or?
I don't think it's quite that long. We're in schematic design now. I think it's estimated that construction documents follow that at maybe 6 to 9 months. We did have, I will thank my Board of Trustees. They are absolutely wonderful. I know how to manage a budget. I am not a financial genius. They keep the organization stable and help guide it, and they actually asked for an outside, accounting firm to come in and look at cash flow related to the campaign. And right now, we're pretty confident that we can keep going forward, even though we have a lot more money to raise. There's no reason to pause and wait while we raise more.
Good. That's good news. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much.
And on the heels of that will come our 100th anniversary.
Oh, good.
It's true.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next up is the Police Accountability Board Annual Report.
Well, good morning. Steve McCarty, Chairperson of the Washington County Police Accountability Board. Before I begin my testimony, I want to thank the county attorney staff. They've done an excellent job. They continue to do an excellent job in supporting us in what we do with the Police Accountability Board, and they, the staff there are just phenomenal, and I just want to thank them before I give my report. So, going into the Washington County Police Accountability Board, to let you know that we adhere to all the mandates and regulations enacted by the Maryland Legislature and the Washington County Police Accountability Ordinance. Part of the mandates for a Police Accountability Board is produce an annual report to the local government body with its, which this entails. That's why my presentation is this morning. Excuse me, going over some of our activities for 2024. The Washington County Police Accountability Board has been meeting on a regular quarterly basis with the heads of the Washington County law enforcement agencies. At least one member of the Police Accountability Board, Washington County Police Accountability Board, participated in an optional Police Accountability Board training by the Maryland Police Training and Standards Commission in 2024. 35 police accountability complaints were filed in 2024, with 2 complaints submitted directly through the Washington County Police Accountability Board, or as I like to say, the complaint comes downtown and directed to the relevant law enforcement agencies to conduct investigation. The other 33 complaints were submitted directly to the relevant law enforcement agencies. It is most important to note that while no policy change recommendations have been made by the Washington County Police Accountability Board, a frequent topic of discussion at the quarterly Police Accountability Board meetings is concerns of profanity used by police officers. 2024 trial board activities, as a result of only having one civilian member appointed and trained to participate on a trial board if needed, the Washington County Police Accountability Board advertised for and accepted applications for new trial board civilian members. At their quarterly meeting in October 2024, Police Accountability Board reviewed the applications in closed session. Appointments of a new trial board civilian members are anticipated for the next open session. It is noted that no trial board hearing was conducted in 2024. That is not expected to remain the trend for this upcoming year. 2024 Administrative Charging Committee activities. It's underneath the umbrella of the Police Accountability Board. These are the group of people that will actually sit and hear the complaints. They meet monthly. The Administrative Charge Committee meets on a monthly basis and reviews cases submitted by law enforcement agencies and issues written determinations of these cases. 3 members of the Administrative Charging Committee did an additional 8 hours of training by the Police Training Commission. The Administrative Charging Committee reviewed and made determinations on 37 cases. 9 of these cases were a result of complaints submitted in 2023, but as a result of time needed by the law enforcement agency to complete the investigation, the Administrative Charge Committee reviewed the file. The ACC, as Administrative Charge Committee, needed to add the cases originating in 2023 to their meetings in January and March of 2024. And Administrative Charge Committee waits to investigatory file for the remaining 7 out of those 35 complaints received in 2024. Just one of the things I want to say on the side note of the Administrative Charge Committee, this is just not people to show up. 5 members of the Administrative Charge Committee had to spend 40 hours of training with the Police Training Commission, Correctional and Police Training Commission, and 2 of those members had to travel to Cumberland for the training, and 3 traveled to Sykesville. Took 40 hours out of their personal schedule to receive this training. The general demographics of the cases reviewed, and these are the demographics. 59 determination letters were issued. 40 police officers named at least 1 complaint. 27 cases involved Hagerstown Police Department, which has its own online portal, making submission of a complaint much easier. 9 cases involved Washington County Sheriff's Office. 1 case involved the Smithsburg Police Department, and 8 cases led to administrative charges found against officers. The Administrative Charge Committee's written determinations were returned to the heads of the law enforcement agencies and citizens' complaint, if applicable. In addition to the 3 law enforcement agencies listed by the Administrative Charging Committee may review cases for Hancock Police Department, Boonsboro Police Department, and Hagerstown Community College Police. The Administrative Charge Committee does not hear cases from any of the state law enforcement agencies serving Washington County. Those are handled under a different government organization, appointed organization. Recommendations that come to the Police Accountability Board from the Administrative Charge Committee have been shared with law enforcement agency heads at the quarterly meetings. These recommendations, suggestions are not policy changes, but rather, one, suggested improvements to the investigative formats or files that each law enforcement agency is using to submit a complaint investigation to the Administrative Charge Committee. What this does, it makes it a little bit easier for those of us who are sitting on the Administrative Charge Committee to look at the files. It's just to make it easier and more of a set format, not that anything's being misplaced, but just to make it the flow easier for those who review the cases. And the second one is suggestions regarding policy enforcement, namely as it relates to what many law enforcement agency police categorize as unbecoming conduct. Now, what I say about that, but language, as we get older, some of the language that we hear, and we brought this to the attention of the law enforcement heads, just the language of that's interactions our police officers have, and they're aware of it. And on one case, in one of our quarterly meetings, an agency head brought the officers in to review the body-worn camera, which we, in the Administrative Charge Committee, we see all the body-worn camera, which is very consuming. We look at all that. When you have 5 officers involved in something, you have to look at every body-worn camera, or also in the police car. But one department in this county has brought their officers in and said, listen, how you were talking during this. Nothing was really egregious with the way their enforcement was going, but just listen to how you were communicating. And that, and the officers who were brought in on that to look at what they said, you're right, I need to watch how I speak. And so if any questions, I do have the chairperson of the Administrative Charge Committee with me sitting here, Scott Matheny. If you have any questions directed to me and on this chairperson of the Police Accountability Board, or if you have a more specific question, and maybe I can bring Scott up as the chairperson of the Administrative Charge Committee, we'd be welcome to answer those questions.
Questions, comments?
So if I am to understand this, Steve, out of everything you looked at, there were 8 cases that led to some sort of administrative action?
Yeah, they could have been something, can I bring my chairperson up from the ACC to help answer that?
Yeah. I'm just looking at, of all the interactions that our officers, Smithsburg, et cetera, county sheriffs, all the interactions that they have every day, 365 days a year, and looking at complaints that were brought forward, it looks like there were only 8 cases that led to some type of action.
That's correct.
And
generally speaking, that would be
if I could just say something, that's amazing.
It's phenomenal.
Well,
It's really an outstanding report for the year for the number of encounters that the police departments have with the civilian population. Because you're really only looking at a violation of HPDs or sheriff departments or these local agencies, their policies and procedures. This is nothing criminal whatsoever. This is a violation of departmental policies.
Mm-hmm. But that's really, really good.
Yeah, I'd like to say, Commissioners, some of the complaints we get, and we do, some of them are just not, they're exonerated, are simple complaints of people not understanding law enforcement. Some that are, like I can say one complaint came against the department. It was a parking violation, and it was a parking violation of somebody made a complaint against the whole department because somebody was parked in a handicap spot in the city limits of Hagerstown, and the officer, there was no response within an hour. The reason why there was no response in an hour for that parking complaint for the person made a complaint about parking in a handicap spot is because the police department was involved in a very serious crime that was going on, and they had to take care of that before they came, and then some other complaints. So and the other one is, as Chairperson Scott said, is, there's some procedural things. We have not seen anything egregious, but departments have their policies. So, it could be, what would be out of that, as you say, 365, 24/7, interactions with the police. Our police officers in this county do an amazing job. And the fact that they go out there and they still do it, knowing that they're being, they're being audited every time because everybody has a cell phone. Everybody wants to record the police officers, everything they're doing. And the fact that they still go out and do that and they're being audited all the time, it's a very tough job in this day and age.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Okay, anyone else?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for your service. Yep. Next item is quotation award Q-24-291, Splunk Infrastructure Monitoring.
Good morning, Brandy Kentner, Director of Purchasing Department.
Josh O'Neill, Chief Technology Officer, Information Systems.
The first recommendation I have for you this morning is the quotation award Q-24-291, Splunk Infrastructure Monitoring. Move to award the quote for the Splunk product to the responsive quoter, GHA Technologies, out of Scottsdale, Arizona, for the lowest quote of $61,389. The county did accept bids on December 18th of 2024. The RFQ was posted on the county's website and the new online bidding website. 41 companies downloaded the document and 19 quotes were received. 3 of those quotes, the low bids, to be exact, they were deemed non-responsive because they could not sell the Splunk product, and that was per the manufacturer. Splunk is a cloud-based service that collects, manages, and analyzes machine-generated data to provide analytical data, IT observability, policy compliance, and enhanced cyber security. Funding is available in the department's operating budget for this service.
Okay. Questions? Motion?
Motion to approve.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on the floor for approval as submitted. All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Same sign, 5-0. Thank you. Next item is bid award PUR 1722, VMware vSphere Foundation 8. Did I say that right?
Brandy Kentner, Purchasing Director.
Josh O'Neill, Chief Technology Officer.
The next recommendation after you is the bid award VMware vSphere Foundation 8. Move to award the bid for the VMware to the responsible bidder, GHA Technologies, out of Scottsdale, Arizona, for the low bid of $215,533.44. The county did accept bids on January 2nd, 2025. The bid was advertised on the State of Maryland's eMaryland Marketplace website, the county's website, the local newspaper, and a new online bidding site. 43 companies downloaded the document and 11 bids were received. This software forms the technology that the county, local network services, and client desktop virtualization services rely on for operation. Funding is available in the department's operating budget for this purchase.
I just have a real quick curious question. These last two we did, is that something we've always had, or are we making new additions to our systems?
The Splunk product replaces a different product we used to use. It adds extra reporting and alerting functionality. And vSphere is software we have had for a very long time. It recently changed corporate hands, and the price went up significantly.
Oh, thank you. Motion to approve.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve as submitted. All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, 5-0. Thank you. Next item is intergovernmental cooperative purchase 25-0177 for a 2025 Ford F-350 extended cab DRW 4x4 truck.
Brandy Kentner, Purchasing Director.
Mark Bradshaw, Director of Environmental Management.
The next recommendation is the intergovernmental cooperative purchase, INTG 25-0177 for a 2025 Ford F-350 for the Department of Water Quality. Move to authorize by resolution for the department to purchase one new 2025 Ford F-350 extended cab truck from Apple Ford out of Columbia, Maryland, in the amount of $144,307. We're also going to utilize another jurisdiction's contract, which was awarded by Baltimore County to Apple Ford. The Department of Water Quality is requesting this purchase to replace a vehicle that exceeds the county's vehicle and equipment types guidelines. The existing vehicle is a 2001 Ford F-350 with 189,000 miles on it. The county initiated the vehicle and equipment types guidelines policy in 2001. The county's replacement guideline does say that vehicles less than 19,500 pounds, is recommended at a 10-year economic life replacement. The Code of Public Laws of Washington County provides that the Board of County Commissioners may procure goods and services through a contract entered into by another government entity as long as we abide by the same terms, conditions, and pricings, and we have done so. The county will benefit from the direct cost savings of this purchase because of the economies of scale the contract has leveraged. Funds are available in the department's capital improvement account in the amount of $165,480.15.
Can I ask a question? $144,000 for a truck? I haven't shopped for trucks, so I don't know, but it seems like, you know, it should be under 100. I don't know.
This truck will actually have a utility body on it and a crane.
And a crane?
Yes.
Okay.
Because we need the crane to pull pumps.
Well, that makes a difference. Was that stated in this?
It's on the attachment.
Oh, on the,
Yes.
I guess I just didn't catch that. Okay. All right, I motion to approve.
Second.
I just have a question if I can. The vehicle we are replacing, will that go on Gov Deals to sell? Sometimes we put in the ARP, they're going on Gov Deals, sometimes we don't mention it.
It will be sold on Gov Deals when we take delivery of the new one.
Just,
Wayne, I can add that, but we do that. That is our procedure, so.
I see it sometimes and sometimes I don't. I don't know if it's true or not. I've just heard that sometimes an old vehicle will go to another department and a couple years down the road, they'll say, hey, we got this old vehicle. It was already replaced one.
yeah,
Okay, we have a motion and a second on the floor. Anything? Ready to vote?
aye.
All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, 5-0. Thank you.
See, I wouldn't have thought about that until you brought it up.
Okay, item number 6, bid award PUR 1720, 4 medical ventilators for the Division of Emergency Services.
Randy Kentner, Purchasing Director.
David Chisholm, Deputy Director, Emergency Services.
The last recommendation I have read this morning is the bid award PUR 1720 for medical ventilators for the Division of Emergency Services. Move to award the purchase for the 4 ventilators for use by DES in the amount of $16,500 per unit. This is a total cost of $66,000. The low quote was received from Hamilton Medical out of Reno, Nevada, when their proposal dated January 14, 2025. This state-of-the-art ventilator is going to replace the rival ventilators currently being used by the county. A ventilator is a medical device used to provide artificial ventilation to a non-breathing patient. The device provides consistent breaths for non-breathing patients and allows the clinical technician to utilize various settings to optimize the use of the ventilator. Washington County is home of 2 inpatient ventilator facilities, and having these devices will allow the clinicians to continue to provide mechanical ventilation to the patient population in this area. That's for transport from a facility to the hospital. The county did accept bids for these ventilators on January 17, 2025. The invitation to bid was listed in the eMaryland Marketplace website, the county's website, the local newspaper, and our new online bidding site. 23 companies downloaded the document, and we did receive this one bid. Funds are available in the department's operating budget in the amount of $67,750.
Just a couple more curious questions, just for, you have 4, correct?
Yes.
Do they get loaned out around to different stations, or?
No, sir, they reside on the EMS supervisor vehicles, and those are the individuals trained to utilize those devices.
And who, that was my next question, is a paramedic just naturally trained to use it, or is it special training?
It's special training in addition to what they typically.
So that ventilator and that special trained person is always around
Yes.
okay.
Is it the same type of ventilator that EMS uses?
Yes, sir.
So, and so EMS units, whether Smithsburg or some, are using?
They don't have them.
They
Just the
don't have them.
supervisors do. Because of the additional training, the expense of the device, the patient population that we typically treat with these devices, we limit it to the EMS supervisor position to use these devices.
Okay.
Life expectancy of these devices?
I would say easily 8 years. The last ventilators lasted us 6 years.
How often do they get used?
With the 2 ventilator facilities in the county probably 2 to 3 times a week.
Okay. I motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and second for approval. All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Tab number 7, Washington County Transit, approval to apply for federal funds. Good morning.
Good morning, Commissioners. Andrew Eshelman, Director of Public Works.
Good morning, Sean Harbaugh, Director of Transit.
Good morning, Karsten Ahrens, Senior Grant Manager, Office of Grant Management.
We're here before you seeking a motion to submit for a grant application. Wanted to take a little bit of time first to note a change due to the recent President Trump executive orders. The RAISE grant, which stood for Rebuilding American Infrastructure with Sustainability and Equity, has been converted and changed to BUILD, which stands for Better Utilizing Investments to Leverage Development. So the project is still eligible, but that brings it in line with the new executive order. So I did want to make mention of that for when we do the motion and we're submitting actually under the BUILD grant, no longer the RAISE grant. So again, we're here seeking a motion to submit a grant application. Actually, this is through the Maryland Department of Transportation. They're submitting this on behalf of Washington County Transit. It would be to accept funds in the awarded amount provided by the Federal Transit Authority for what we're calling Expanding Rural Transit Options, which is our Washington County Bus Facility Project. And then also included in the motion would be to provide a letter of support for the application. So this grant, if awarded, is a competitive grant, would fund the costs associated with planning and design for a renovated and expanded administrative, maintenance, and transit vehicle storage facility at Washington County Transit's current location at 1000 West Washington Street here in Hagerstown. The Maryland Department of Transportation, through the Maryland Transit Administration, is actually applying for this grant on behalf of Washington County Transit, and if successful, we would be the subrecipient. Sean?
Yes, so improvements to administration and maintenance facilities will provide additional space to meet current and future operational needs. These needs are supported by WCT's historic growth and its 5-year transit development plan, which projects current annual ridership to increase by 30% from 2010 to 2030. The facility will allow the department to support transit operations and programs by providing the necessary administrative space, fleet maintenance, storage, training, and support future fueling and additional vehicle types. The facility is located in an area of persistent poverty, therefore would be eligible for 100% federal funding.
I'd like to recognize the Hagerstown Eastern Panhandle Metropolitan Planning Organization and Matt Mullinex in the audience. They've been a big partner in this. They covered 100% of the costs associated with a Washington County Transit facility expansion study, where we looked at our facility needs. And I'd like to point out this grant application is just for the first phase for planning and design of a future facility. We would then need to, if successful, and ultimately work towards a second grant application to provide the construction funds. Again, it would be under a similar program. Now would be the BUILD program. Washington County Transit has been coordinating with the adjacent property owners in the city of Hagerstown on potential quitclaim and closure of a portion of the alley, which is behind the existing facility, and you can see the exhibit on the screen there, to allow us to expand across the alley and build onto the existing building. To have that all under one roof. That would be the concept, and so we work through that. It's worth mentioning that the grant application has received numerous letters of support from all levels of government, from Governor Moore down to the municipalities, as well as many nonprofits and transit stakeholders. Are there any questions that we can answer?
Questions, gentlemen? Motion for approval?
Motion to approve.
Second?
Second.
Motion is second on the floor for approval as submitted. All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Trust will receive the grant. Tab number 8, property acquisition of 540 and 520 Western Maryland Parkway.
Good morning, Commissioners. Todd Moser, Real Property Administrator. Property acquisition of 540 and 520 Western Maryland Parkway. Move to approve the purchase of 540 and 520 Western Maryland Parkway, to approve an ordinance approving said purchase, and to authorize the execution of necessary documentation to finalize the acquisition, and move to approve a budget adjustment for this project. County has entered into an agreement to purchase 540 and 520 Western Maryland Parkway for $13.5 million. The property at 540 Western Maryland Parkway consists of a 100,000 square foot building that will accommodate the relocation of the Sheriff Office Patrol Services and County 911 Center. I believe there's another part of that as well. Michelle, is there the EOC? There's another department that would be relocated to that is not updated in my ARF. The unapproved parcel consists of 7.88 acres. The settlement is contingent upon a 60-day study period, title work, a 1301 exchange for the seller, and could occur anytime from April 2025 through December 2025. Are there any questions? And again, I listed the Sheriff's Office Patrol Services and County 911 Center in this document.
I motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve as submitted. All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, that's our open agenda this morning. Motion to go into closed session for the reasons outlined and in more detail, to discuss confidential personnel matters, to consider a matter that concerns the proposal for a business or industrial organization, and to consult with legal counsel.
Motion going closed.
Second.
Okay. Motion to go into close and a second. All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Same sign.
Can we have a 10-minute break?
10-minute break.